right, welcome to episode 14 of the Gaming Lounge podcast. Once again, I'm your host Sebastian, and I'm joined by Dory. How's everything going, Dory?
Good. Camp is up and running, and my feet are hurting, but here I am.
Awesome. So we took a 2-month hiatus. I was questioning if I could keep the podcast going.
Sorry about that. That's my dog. I got a dog in the 2 months that we were gone. I had to replace Seb with something, so I replaced him with a dog.
So we did miss Summer Game Fest and a bunch of news and showcases and things like that. So we're gonna do a really quick update, a quick review of Summer Game Fest. Nothing too long, but just enough for on some of the any of the things that stood out to us. They started off with the Summer Game Fest opening night, right? The opening showcase with Jeff Keighley, and it was universally hated by everybody, pretty much. The reviews were really bad. The polling was all D's, I think. And but Dory and I didn't hate it. I thought it was okay. I thought the first half was pretty solid, and then the second half was really boring. I think his show has just got very corporate, and there's a lot of ads and stuff. He just shoves in there. I feel like they're too long. His shows. He needs to cut it down, but that's where he makes all the money. My only thing is, I wish that we had more of a competition with these showcases. I don't like that one person runs all of the showcases now. He basically has a monopoly on the showcases, and they're all starting to turn into the Jeff show in terms of it feels like his same tone, same pacing. It's there's nothing unique that stands out anymore because it's always him running the same show. And I think people are starting to get a little tired of it, but again, I thought the show was okay. I didn't think it was horrendous. I just thought it was all right. What did you think, Dory?
Yeah, I was along pretty similar lines. I thought the pacing for the first half, maybe even a little bit more past that, was really solid, surprisingly solid. But then after that, it just fell off a cliff for me. Just not a lot of games I was very interested in. Way too much. Just way too much talking, not enough showing. The games that they showed, like I said, just weren't super interesting to me. It didn't leave a lasting impression overall on me. Although, like I said, the first half was good.
Right. And then the Xbox Showcase, though, on the other hand, was fantastic. It was arguably the best show they've ever done, if not one of the best shows ever for a gaming conference. I feel like I wanted to play every single game that they showed. I watched it live with Dory and a bunch of friends, and everybody was really impressed. And I think the overall consensus that it was great. I think most people voted A on Jeff's poll, and this is probably the most exciting time to be an Xbox gamer or a PC gamer. I think because they have a lot of studios now, and the games are finally coming out. And even if they have a dry spell with their first party, well, I guess Activision and Bethesda are the first party, but now if there's a dry spell with their original studios, they have Activision and Bethesda to fill in the gaps. So they should have a steady stream of games all year now, both on Steam and Game Pass. So this is the time to get a Game Pass. I mean, obviously those games are not out yet, but they're coming out pretty soon. So if you don't have Game Pass now, you probably could wait, but once it gets the fall time, I think that's when it's time to get Game Pass. I think if you're interested in a subscription service. What'd you think, Dory?
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was really solid. I did not have high expectations, so that was that probably helped. I didn't care about Call of Duty or Indiana Jones, but showing off Dragon Age was really cool. I'm not super into Assassin's Creed anymore, but I like the look of it, and it looks good. I like the look of it. It seems, feels like it's eating Ghost of Tsushima's leftovers, but whatever. Expedition 33 really caught my eye. The team is obviously very motivated by classic RPGs. If you look at a lot of the people that are behind that, so a couple of them have their favorite games as Kingdom Hearts 2, and also some classic games. I don't remember all the games they mentioned, but obviously Kingdom Hearts 2 stuck out to me. They also showed off Life is Strange Double Exposure, which was hype as hell. I love Max, and I love that first Life is Strange universe, so I'm super excited for this. Mixtape and Metal Gear Solid looked really good too. There's also some day one Game Pass announcements that I also liked. So yeah, this was the best, I believe, showcase of the whole year. And I did not expect Xbox to be able to do that, honestly, at this point, just because they've had a rather lackluster year or two. But this was really good, and I was very impressed. I'm really interested in Expedition 33, and very curious what that'll look like. And Dragon Age: The Veilguard looks really good too, and I'm excited to play that when it comes out.
Yeah, let's rapid fire some games really quick. We're not gonna go too detailed. Just something that caught my eye. First one was the new Astrobot game.
Yes,
that's gonna be a day one easily. That could be a game of the year contender. That looked absolutely amazing. I'm really excited for PlayStation right now in terms of like their platformers. But they put Daxter on PS Plus and they put Sly Cooper on PS Plus, and Sly Cooper has been a very popular PS2 emulated game for them. And so if the sales keep up, maybe Sony will start giving us more more family friendly games and try something different besides third person shooters.
I mean, Lego Horizon Adventures is a good example of that. Like they're coming out with like a Lego version of Horizon, which I don't really think I personally wanted or needed, but it looks really cute. And if it gets good reviews, maybe I'll check it out.
And the big news for that one is that it's coming to PC day one, and it's coming to Switch day one.
Right.
They skipped Xbox, but it's coming to everything else day one. So
yeah,
I assume Lego forced them to do that.
It's like that Clerks 2 clip where they're like, fuck you, you're cool, and fuck you.
Yeah.
That's in reverse.
There was a trend with some games that skipped Xbox, which people were pissed about, but we'll talk about that later. So that's jumped out to me. Black Myth Wukong comes out in 2 months. I'm excited for that.
Looks incredible.
Yeah, and I heard it's not a Souls game, so that might appeal to more people now, but I don't know. That game was skipping Xbox. It's a time exclusive, it's a kind of time exclusive, but only because they're working on it for Xbox and they're having issues making it compatible with the Xbox or something like that. They're having technical issues, so it's like a repeat of Baldur's Gate 3, which happened. They would have put it on the Xbox the same day as PlayStation, but they were having issues trying to make it compatible with the console. So it became a de facto time exclusive for PS5. So that was another issue. Assassin's Creed Shadows. I think it looks pretty good. Nothing like it. It looks like a typical open world game to me. I know a big controversy during our hiatus. There was like big talk about Yasuke being black, and people were going crazy about it's not historically accurate. And that was a big conversation. But like it's to me, it's a non-issue, of course, and you can play as a woman who's Japanese, and her gameplay is more stealth oriented, more Assassin's Creed-ish. While his is more like Ghost of Tsushima.
Yep.
Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
Yes,
we're both hyped for that. Every time I see it, I get more hyped. It looks incredible.
Looks really, really good.
Metaphor Refantasio looks great.
Yes. Also excited about that.
Yes, and that's coming to Game Pass day one as well.
Oh, so excited.
Yes. What else? I think
I want to mention Neva by or Neva. I don't know. Done by the same people who did Grease. GRIS. The game looks fucking gorgeous and really cool indie game. I loved Grease a lot. Wasn't necessarily the most interactive game, but the art was so jaw-dropping, and the kind of implied subtle storytelling was so compelling to me that I kept going anyway. But yeah, really enjoyed Grease, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do with the kind of, spirit. It seems like a spiritual successor to me.
Yeah, it does seem like that. It could easily be a sequel. They said it.
Yeah, and
I believe it. All right, so that's pretty much it. That stands out to us, I think. Off the top of my head, I'm looking at a list, and nothing else really would appeal to both of us. So,
well, of course, we've got to talk about the real hero of the show, Killer Bean, right? From Killer Bean Studios LLC.
They didn't put that on the list. That game
I
really
can't
looks
believe it.
fun. Yeah.
It looks ridiculous, and I love it.
All right, so let's talk about the Xbox show. Um, there's a lot to talk about in this one, but we won't go too long with it. Call of Duty actually looked pretty good for what they showed. Like this was actually the Call of Duty that people got excited about. Usually, people's reaction is like boring or I don't really care. It seems like people that are more interested in this one. I'm kind of on the fence. I'll get it on a sale or something, or I'll try it out on Game Pass if needed. I really wanted to play it, but not something I would go out of my way to spend $60-$70 on. But it's there on Game Pass. The one of the best reveals was Doom: The Dark Ages. That game looked incredible. I mean, that's easily day one for me. Like that, Doom is incredible, and
Oh, I forgot to talk about Doom. Yeah, hell yeah. God, that looked. That was. I already kind of knew about that. I got like slightly spoiled,
yeah,
but I had heard about Doom: The
yeah,
Dark Ages, but it looks so good. And I mean, give me it. I loved Eternal, and I loved 2016. So I thought, yeah, that impressed me for sure.
yeah. It was the worst kept secret. It was. I saw the rumor that it was coming to PlayStation like 2 months ago before the show,
Yeah.
and it turns out it's coming to PlayStation day one.
Wow. Yeah. I forgot about that. Fable. I thought Fable looked great. I didn't grow up playing any of the Fable games. I was aware of them, but I never got into them. So I'm excited to play the remake. I think some of the originals on Steam. Maybe not. I can't remember. Last game I want to mention might surprise some folks. Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn. I think I talked about this a little bit earlier, a few months ago. But it's a Souls-like, so I'm not usually into that. I was watching some gameplay via IGN. It looks great to me. It's got some Souls elements, but it's similar to Wukong. It's an action RPG with some Souls elements here and there. But yeah, the main conceit being, of course, that you have a gun. You can use it to interrupt various enemies and stuff like that. But you need to get a certain amount of gunpowder, and to do that, you need to attack enemies, and it creates that kind of feedback loop. So yeah, I hope that it's good. It's going to be on Game Pass. That's why I'm more interested in it than not, because it's unlike Wukong, it's not going to be $60-$70 for me anyway. So yeah, Flintlock looks pretty good. I don't know that it looks like perfect or whatever. But I like what I'm seeing. I'll wait for reviews, but yeah.
Yeah, it's on sale right now with the summer game, the summer Steam summer sale.
Yeah, which we'll also get into.
But I think it's only like $3 off. I believe it's $35 off the top of my head. So what just stood out to me as well, State of Decay 3. I wasn't really into the second one, but the third one looked pretty good. I might check it out. Dragon Age: The Veilguard. I'm pretty excited for this game. I was a little iffy like on the title change. I was like, the other title kind of sounded cooler.
What was it again? I forget.
Now I'm forgetting. Shit.
Damn it.
Let me check.
Dragon Age, the Dragon. Oh man, I don't remember it either.
But I saw the gameplay for it and it looked great. I was a little like the trailer itself wasn't that great. They had a bad song choice for it. It's called Dreadwolf.
Dreadwolf. Yep, I just found it too. Yeah, Dreadwolf. I like Dreadwolf more than Veilguard. But
I don't like Veilguard. Just put Veilguard.
Oh yeah, that makes sense too.
So yeah, so people didn't really like the trailer that much, and it was just the song they chose was kind of like off-putting. But when they showed the gameplay like a couple days later, it looks a lot more action based.
Yeah.
Than RPG. So it looks like an action RPG. Yeah, it looked really fun, and everything stood out to me. So that game looks like a day one for me. I'm a pretty big Dragon Age fan. Have you ever played Dragon Age?
I have them on Game Pass. I'm thinking about playing them soon.
Yeah, I would play Origins. I know people don't really care for Dragon Age 2. And Inquisition won Game of the Year in 2014.
Yeah, for sure. I forget which ones are on Game Pass. I have Dragon Age. Just 1 second. Let me get through this. Which ones do I have? Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age Origins, and Inquisition.
Yeah, that's all of them. Now, they are on Steam for like $4 right now. So
yeah, it's pretty cheap to get them.
Yep. All right. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater looks good.
They had a whole showcase by David Hayter, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think they're just reusing the audio from the original game. I don't. Think
Yes. But they did, like they literally had like a interview with David Hayter in a showcase and stuff, which I thought was good. It shows that, like, okay, Kojima's not here, but like the literal voice of Snake backs the project and thinks it looks good. So like,
my only concern is I don't trust Konami fully.
Sure.
So I don't know if it's going to be a fantastic remake or not. We'll see. But
it looks really good.
It looks good.
Yeah,
we'll see.
But it's definitely like fuck Konami like all the time because they just mess things up left and right. But I did want to talk about one other thing. Oh yeah, we should talk about E-Day. So first off, I'm really happy for everybody in the Gears of War franchise. Y'all are finally getting your estrogen. Good for you. Happy Pride Month, everybody. No, but seriously, E-Day looked really cool. I love that they're bringing the what do they call the creatures in Gears of War? I swear I played 1, 4, and 5, so I just can't remember what they're called.
The Locust, I think.
The Locust, yeah. They're bringing them back to like kind of their really terrifying roots, and you're not as powerful necessarily. I think that's a really interesting track to kind of go on. And yeah, I'm curious what happens. We didn't get a big look at it, just a brief trailer, no gameplay. But it's cool that they're doing something before Gears. I'm surprised that they're not going to do like the next Gears game, but instead they're doing a prequel. But they have said the team behind it, I believe the collective, have said that they are doing both, but they want to do E-Day first or something like that.
Yes, and I'm curious what Gear 6 is going to be, but I don't mind going back. Obviously, people are excited to play as Marcus Phoenix and seeing Dom again, so
yeah,
that's exciting. So it is cool to see a prequel, and totally unexpected. But I love the throwback with the like Mad World playing in the background of the trailer and stuff like that. So that's nostalgic. That's cool. For me. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I was surprised by Perfect Dark, like how it looked. It actually looked pretty good. Like I thought, because that game's been through hell, the development. And
yeah, I'm hoping we get a kind of Dead Island 2 Cinderella story here because this has been through a lot. But it looks pretty cool. It looks kind of like the running kind of reminds me of Mirror's Edge, but with obviously a more focus on spyware and like shooting and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had a good Perfect Dark game since Nintendo 64, so.
God, since the last one, which wasn't very good from what I know.
Yeah, it was not good. It was a launch game.
Yeah.
It was horrible. You already mentioned Life is Strange, so I'm excited for that, of course. One of my favorite series.
They said, now, last thing I want to say about that, or at least one more thing to follow up, is that they have said that they are going to make the Chloe endings canonical no matter which you chose.
Right.
And I'm like, how? How are you going to do that? Because those are two very, very different choices that you're making at the end of the original Life is Strange. So I don't know. I don't know how Max kind of deals with one of those endings and living with herself kind of situation.
I'm going to assume that when it starts, it's going to ask you what you picked, and then they recorded probably two different sets of storylines that fit.
Yeah, it honestly wouldn't surprise me too if Chloe and Max have gone their separate ways, or they have some kind of narration to explain away why Chloe's not in the game, or I don't know. It just seems like just make the sad ending the real ending, because like that's what most people picked anyway, and that's what probably the moral choice.
That's what I picked.
So.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So.
The Indiana Jones game, I thought the showcase for that was a little off. I thought the animation was kind of weird, and it just something about it was a little off with it. But I'm still excited for it, of course. But what they showed, just something was weird about the showcase of it. It was like the anime. It just didn't, and it felt like Wolfenstein basically. I mean, the same developers, but it was like the Nazis and being goofy, so it had the same exact tone. they're just obsessed with making killing Nazi games, which
No.
no
You're
complaint,
confusing.
no complaint.
You're confusing Disney characters. Donald Duck is the one who dressed up like a Nazi in the World War II propaganda film, not Goofy.
Yeah,
And look that up. That's true. That's real.
that is true.
Shit's real.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, this didn't grab me either. I do want to talk about South of Midnight though. I thought that looked really cool. A game that's set in the kind of the bayou area in the deep south setting. It's not one. It's something that Resident Evil 7 kind of teased and toyed with and like played around with. But this one is really about like being in the deep south, being in the bayou. Like, I think that's awesome from a cultural standpoint because you just don't get a lot of media that's based around that kind of culture and the people who live there. Obviously, it's a very fantastical take as Hazel has a catfish and they travel through kind of a Mississippi-inspired area. But it's based on a lot of mythology. I just thought it looked really cool. They showed a little bit of gameplay, but not a ton.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the stop motion animation.
Yeah, the game looks really fun. I really like the gameplay. It reminded me of Kena a lot.
Yes, Kena. That's a good shout.
Yeah, it's my kind of game, so I'm definitely interested in that game. My only concern would be just the developers. They have not made the greatest games ever, but this seems like they're going to be their best one.
Yeah,
this is Compulsion Games, I believe.
I'm hoping if it is like Kena, that's a little better than Kena. Even though I thought Kena was good or pretty good, I can't remember exactly what I thought of it. Definitely could have used some more sprucing up in certain departments, such as the combat. But yeah, this looks great, and I'm honestly just really excited, just from a cultural standpoint, because, like I said, media representation is really important for all kinds of people, and this is just something you don't often see in media. But yeah, I mean, you can just jump in the air, you can fly around with the birds. I mean, it looks beautiful too. It's got kind of that Into the Spider-Verse kind of look to it, with the kind of 30 frames per second, or I don't know, whatever they're doing. Looks really cool.
That animation started becoming a running theme more in games now, I've noticed.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, that game looks really good. I'm excited for Avowed, which comes out this year as well. We got news, I believe, this week that it's gonna be it's the same length as Outer Worlds, same area. The areas are the same size as Outer Worlds, which I think is a good idea because I like that Outer Worlds wasn't like a giant open world game. It was very open area, and had a good pace to it. So I think that's good news for Avowed. So let the writing be good, not force a giant open world that's barren.
God, this Expedition 33 game looks so good.
Yes, it does.
So it's like described as like a reactive turn-based RPG. Like visually it looks great. The combat looks incredible. The art design, and I mean, if you look at some of the people behind it and their taste in video games are just impeccable.
Yeah, the other game looks fantastic, and that and Mixtape really stood out to me as like the games I didn't expect to see. Because they're the same creators that made Artful Escape. Did you ever play that?
I never did play that.
Yeah, it's fantastic guitar game where platformer side scroller where you just run around. You platform, but you can hold a guitar and you play music, and the visuals are incredible. Is it still? I wonder if it's still on Game Pass, but it's pretty cheap anyway. I would play that before you play Mixtape. Just get the vibes that they have, that they go for. All right, so let's start moving on now. All right, so there's a couple games. Oh, there's a couple games we forgot to mention. I wanted to shout really quick. The Power Rangers game. The beat 'em up. That would look really cool.
Yeah.
And the game I was disappointed in was Slitterhead.
Really?
I thought the idea was cool, but then when I saw the gameplay finally, it looked rough. It looked sloppy. It looked like a low budget game.
It's unfortunate.
They lost me on that one a bit. But I think that's pretty much it. That like all the best stuff. I think we hit on everything. All the good stuff.
Yeah, pretty much everything. Yep.
The only thing, like, I don't want, and what the most, the thing that pissed me off the most was probably the new Batman game, which is being VR only. It's just
Lame.
It's just that, like, Rocksteady basically killed the franchise, literally and figuratively, and then we're getting another Arkham game finally, and it's a VR game on Oculus only.
Yeah. Incredibly lame.
We should probably talk about the state of play a little bit, like, really quick.
Sure.
We did already mention Lego Horizons and Astrobots. That's that. So the thing that jumped out at me was Monster Hunter Wilds, right? I'm not really a big Monster Hunter fan, but everybody's excited for it. It's gonna sell gangbusters. Monster Hunter sells more than Resident Evil. It's Capcom's biggest franchise, so people are excited for it. I'm not really that excited because I'm just not a Monster Hunter fan. What about you, Dory?
Yeah, I can't say it's ever gotten into me. I've ever gotten into it. Yeah, it didn't move me. I was like, okay, sure, that's great for those people who really like it.
And then they showed the Until Dawn remake, which comes out this year.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, did you ever play the original?
Yes, Until Dawn. Yes, I played it with Kim actually. Wasn't my first run, definitely wasn't my best run. I never went back afterwards because that's just not really the person I am. But yeah, it was a really fun time. I thought it was a great game overall. Some quick time events felt a little unfair. Some choices felt a little unclear. And I think every now and then there was some voice acting that took me out of the experience. But overall, I had a great time with it. I thought it was a really solid choice-based horror game. I still want to stream The Quarry at some point, but who knows if that'll ever happen.
Are you gonna play this one, or are you gonna wait? Or
I don't know. Maybe it's like a wait and see in terms of, like, does it really add something? Do I really need to go back and play it? I don't know.
yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna play it on PC. 'Cause it's coming up PC day one, so the visuals look good, but I really don't understand remaking a PS4 game. But whatever. So I don't think any of us care about Dynasty Warriors that much. Where the Winds Meet was pretty cool. It was like a Chinese Souls game. A lot of these Chinese developers are making Souls games. I feel like every time I see a Chinese game,
I don't know what's
it's a
going
Souls
on with
game.
that.
It's just, I guess it's just popular, and they're over there. I would imagine. It looked like the gameplay was very, very fast. It reminded me of Sekiro, which is not my favorite kind of gameplay personally.
Right.
I did beat Sekiro, but still not my favorite. God of War Ragnarok is coming to PC. That was really cool. They really advertised the hell out of it with, like, ultra wide settings. We got NVIDIA DLSS 3.7 and AMD, all these ultra wide support. Like, they really sold it. It's like, you would think it was a PC only game where they sold it to be. That's day one for me to play. I would definitely replay that on PC. It would look incredible on my monitor. All right, that comes out September 19th. So
Was that May, the 2024, that the State of Play came out, or was it June?
it was May, I believe. Like,
Okay, late May.
like very late.
Yeah.
And another game that
Yeah,
stood out
that
to me.
Astrobot thing was definitely the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
Not much else.
That Ballad of Antara game looked cool too. It was like a girl was holding on to him. It was kind of.
I will say it's cool that Dynasty Warriors is having some kind of comeback, and that they're trying to do kind of a mea culpa for the last game.
Yep, and then finally Astrobot, as we talked about. So that's everything pretty much from the. We'll talk about Nintendo Direct at the end of the show.
Yeah.
So let's start moving on now to what we've been playing. Now Dory's been playing.
I do want to mention I finally found Sandfall Interactive. They're behind Expedition 33. I just want to give some highlights of their favorite games. CEO and creative director, one of his favorite games is Final Fantasy VII. The lead game designer, one of his favorite games is Hades. Game designer, one of his favorite games is Kingdom Hearts 2. There's just, like, some really good inspirations here. Quest designer, Persona 4 Golden and Nier Automata. as well as Yakuza 0. And then one of the game testers is really into Outer Wilds, and the lead writer, one of their favorite games is God of War. So I just think that's a really good, like, kind of in terms of influence pedigree, if you want to call it that. Like, I think that's really solid for a lot of people. And there's other games besides that, but those were some of the highlights for me. I didn't want to go on and on because it's kind of a niche comment to make, but I really liked knowing what I think more teams should do that. More teams should talk openly about like what games they're into and what inspired them to get into video gaming and stuff like that. So that when people say, when people see a new game and they're like, oh, this looks like, that's so me coded, as the kids say. Then they can look at what the developers are into and they're like, oh yeah, well that makes so much sense because they like this game and I like that game. But anyway.
All right, so Dory, what have you been playing?
Seb, I have made a pilgrimage. I have made a journey, and I have finally completed my quest on being a real trans person during Pride Month by playing Fallout New Vegas. I've been putting this off for a long time, but I love it. First and foremost, I love it. It's incredible. I am playing a heavily modded version. It's got a lot of the tweaks and fixes. It doesn't crash too often. The only crashes I've really had are in DLC. I've only had like one major bug. It only cost me like an hour. It was a pain, but it only happened once. And once I knew about it, I could prevent it from happening again. It's so the joke there, by the way, I know some people might not know, but a lot of people, a lot of Fallout New Vegas is a really kind of, it's a notable game within a notable franchise that's very popular worldwide. I mean, it has its own TV show now. And a lot of people grew up playing that game. It's one of those games, of course, where you can play as any gender you want. So a lot of people grew up possibly playing as a different gender than they were because they thought it was cool. And then, 10, 15 years later realized, oh, yeah, so that's just kind of a meme in the trans community. But yeah, I never played it before. This is my first Fallout game. I thought I'd start out strong, I love it a lot. I do have some problems with it, of course. It's a 10-year-old game, so I'm not like super mad about these issues, but
older
the movement. Yeah, it's older than that. It's actually 15 years almost. But the movement's not great. It really feels like you should be able to sprint normally instead of jogging. I literally installed like some mods to fix that. So now I can sprint, but it uses up your AP, but whatever. So it's better than nothing. Sometimes during battle, you can't open up your Pip-Boy and you can't use a stim pack. I don't know if you can set it to something so it can auto inject. Like there's stim pack auto injects in the DLC, so I presume that's not an option. But it would be great if they ever remade this game because that's definitely one of the... I've lost like so many times because like I'm close to death, but not quite there. So I'm like mashing on the button that I have assigned to the Pip-Boy. And it's like, just like I'm either in a reloading animation or whatever. And I just die. But yeah, and obviously graphically, yeah, it's not... It looks nice for the time, but it's been 15 years. It looks dated for sure. There's no way around that. But other than that, I mean, I love just about everything about it. The character work is excellent. The writing is fantastic. The gameplay is super fun. Honestly, this game has made me, for obvious reasons, made me want to replay Outer Worlds. If I could play an Outer Worlds mod that got rid of the loading screens, or at least decrease them. I don't know if they ever did decrease them. That was my one like really big issue with Outer Worlds, besides a couple other like nagging issues. I actually like this game more than I remember liking Outer Worlds, which is funny. But maybe it's just because Bethesda had a bigger budget, or I don't know, the vision, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I like this game more than Outer Worlds. Feels like Outer Worlds actually a step back from this in some ways, but not a huge step back. I still liked Outer Worlds a lot, and I'm very excited for Outer Worlds 2 whenever they fucking announce it, because it seems like it's gone completely quiet. But yeah, I don't know. This is just an awesome game. There's not much I can say about it that you probably haven't heard. Take it from somebody who's not really super into Bethesda. I liked Starfield. I gave it kind of like an 8 out of 10, but a very weak 8 out of 10. So I'm not like the biggest fan of them. company wise, and also just like their vision of gaming is not always compatible with mine. But I love this game. I made it so. I mean, the modding community is really, really like to not to blame, but to praise for how good this game still is. They put a lot of work into tweaks and fixing glitches and bugs and making sure crashes don't happen. There's like whole entire expansions of cut content that they've put back in. I do want to highlight the DLC Dead Money. It's one of the trippiest DLCs I've ever seen in my life. I thought it's honestly one of the best DLCs I've ever played, and they give a really good reason for kind of powering down the player, because I'm at like, at that point it was like level 20, level 25. I had really good weaponry, really good health, really good everything. And Dead Money's like, nah, fuck you, like you're in the shit with everybody else. And yeah, it's just an awesome DLC. I honestly think it's Mass Effect 3 Citadel level, or at least close to that for me, which I never thought I'd say about a DLC, but I loved it that much. I do have some like little criticisms about it, like the collar and stuff, and how finicky the instant kills can be. Some of the mapping, routing at the end when you're in the casino trying to pull off the heist is a little overly difficult and unclear. But yeah, generally speaking, I thought it was an incredible DLC, and overall, this is just an excellent game. I would love a remake. Would play it in a heartbeat. I don't think Bethesda will ever do it, because that would be admitting that it's their best game that wasn't even really made by them, right? Because Obsidian kind of broke off and is doing their own thing. So for PR reasons, I don't even think they'll ever do a remaster. I think they'll just completely just leave it alone and just pretend that, like, I don't know, Fallout 76 is the shit or something. But yeah, this has definitely made me a believer in the Fallout franchise. I love it a lot. I don't know if I would play any other Fallout game, but I'd at least try 3 or 4. I don't think I'll ever touch 76, although I know it's in a better state than it used to be. Yeah, it's really good, and I am having a very good time with it. I'm currently I'm at the Divide DLC with when you're facing off with one of the other couriers. I just started that. And then I have one more DLC and then the final mission at the Hoover Dam. So yeah, I think this is also one of the RPGs I probably made the wildest decisions in. Like, I didn't really know what was going to happen, but I just killed like Mr. House and like killed Benny. I didn't really know what was going to happen, but it felt like the right decision to me. And yeah, I mean, it was just pretty nuts to see like the game's like, oh yeah, like we figured you might do this, and we have a complete like quest and plot line for the whole thing. And I was like, wow, okay. And it gets you to explore, so much more of the map too. So yeah, this is just an awesome game. It's a classic for a reason. And like I said, if Bethesda ever actually had the gumption to admit that this is probably their best Fallout game, which they probably won't ever, for obvious reasons, and I understand them, I would play the hell out of a remake or a remaster. A remaster would do this game wonders, and also just improving the movement would be great, so you can actually naturally sprint and don't use up AP. Those are really only my big criticisms. That and the stim packs. But yeah, I don't know, Seb. We've been chatting a little bit about Fallout New Vegas in our conversation. So I didn't know if you had anything to add or.
I mean, I beat New Vegas as well, or I beat it, and it's still the best Fallout game. I beat it a long time ago when it first came out as well on the Xbox 360. My friends and I used to play it a lot. It's dated, of course. The animation's dated. You play Fallout 4 before it, and then go to New Vegas. You're gonna see the difference. Even though Fallout 4 is kind of dated too, even back then, but it still holds up with the writing and I love the characters and the different like factions you can join, and everything's really strong. It's a very tight knit game. I love the whole setting. I mean, there's still a lot of barren wasteland, of course, but yeah. It's not too bad. It's easy to travel. There's a lot of locations, so it's not too bad. It's a fantastic game. Obviously, my goal is to get all the achievements. I'm like 60% there on Steam. So I will eventually get 100% this game. I put 60 hours into this game over the course of like 3-4 months now. It runs perfectly on the Steam Deck. It's a great Steam Deck game. It runs amazing on the Rogue Ally as well. It does not run well on my computer itself because I have an ultra wide monitor and I have to get a mod to make it work, and it's a bit pain in the butt. And it kind of works on my laptop really well as well. So it's really my desktop I would be able to play it. But I've been playing on the Steam Deck mainly. It's a great handheld game. And now Fallout 4 is verified on Steam Deck as well. So I'm excited to play that on the go. But I think I'm gonna take a break from Fallout after this. But yeah, this is the best Fallout game for sure. So what I've been playing, I've been playing a bunch of games. I'll rapid fire them. I'm not gonna go into detail. I've been playing recently the Mickey Mouse Castle of Illusion platforming game on the Steam Deck. I really like that.
Nice.
It's one of my favorite games, platformers from back in the day. It's a remake of Super Nintendo game, I want to say. I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh on my Steam Deck as well. I love playing card games on the Steam Deck. It's perfect. So something I got my Yu-Gi-Oh fix a little bit. I just hop on and play it. I'm trying to get all the achievements. I'm two away. I put like 48 hours into it over the course of like 6 months. Kingdom Hearts, of course, the whole collection came out. I'm going through that. I'm at the end of the first game. I kind of put it down because I've been busy with work and like doing stuff for my job, professional development and playing other games. So I put it down a little bit, but I will get back to it. It runs amazing on the Steam Deck. Absolutely amazing. It does not run well on my laptop. It keeps crashing. For whatever reason, it's just not compatible with certain AMD specs in a computer, which my laptop is like a mix of both NVIDIA and AMD, and it doesn't work. And that was an issue on the Epic Game Store, and they never fixed it. So it's basically they just poured over the same exact problems from the Epic Game Store, but they're fantastic. Overall, like this is now's the time. If you haven't played Kingdom Hearts yet, now's the time. It's like it's so accessible for everywhere. Obviously, don't play it on Switch because you can only stream it on the Switch. But if you have, but like most people are gonna probably have a PC or PS5 or PS4 or whatever. So, I mean, if you have Plus membership, it's the whole series is on there for free on the subscription service, and it was on Game Pass for a long time. It's not there anymore, and now on Steam, it's like $69 for the whole collection. So get it now while it's on sale. Otherwise, it's gonna be like 100 and something for the whole thing. But they're really great games. The first game I'm playing, the first game doesn't hold up as well as the other games. Of course, it's very stiff. Feels like a PS2 game, but still a good game. I play it so many times that I can fly through it. I've been playing Callisto Protocol again. I played on my PC. When I first beat it, I played on PS5. So now I'm playing on PC. It's my opinion is exactly the same. It's still a solid game. Not horrendous, not great. Just like a good solid 7 out of 10. Good horror experience. Not too long. Visuals are incredible, especially on my PC. So I've been having fun with that. And The Messenger, which was a retro side-scrolling game where you play as a ninja. It's one of the funniest games you ever play. It's challenging. It's not usually not my kind of game, but I played on PS4 like years ago. I put it down, and I wanted to finish it this time, so I'm enjoying that. And then finally, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, which is going to be the next topic. Man, if a DLC can be Game of the Year, it'd be my Game of the Year. I mean, apparently it can be. There's no rule that says it can't be, so
yeah,
there's that. But it is fantastic. It matches. It lives up to the reviews, of course. There's some problems with it. It's not perfect. It's not a 10 out of 10 to me, but it's like a 9 to a 9.5. So the big conversation, because right now it's getting mixed reviews on Steam from people, and the big question is it too hard? And I would say it is probably the hardest DLC I've ever played from a Souls game. It is very, very hard. Even if you're like level 500 or something, you're not gonna just walk in there and steamroll everything. But at the same time, I'm not one of those get good people. But I do think people are not using the proper mechanics and then blaming the game. Like there's certain things you have to do, like collect certain items and use certain builds. Some enemies are resistant to magic. You can't force magic on enemies that are resistant to magic. So some people are, I think, are being a little unreasonable. They're not properly using the mechanics. And I also can't stand the people who say that, like, if you use like one of the summons or use a certain weapon or use a certain build, you're doing easy mode. You're not really proper. You're not really playing the game correctly. But like, they're in the game for a reason. Like, I don't understand like why people are gatekeeping this game or other Souls games. Miyazaki literally put it in the games to help people, and that's the whole point of the game, is to use those builds. And then you have the people that like don't use any of the stuff that they put in the game to help you, and then they say it's too hard. Well, you're not using any of the mechanics they want you to use. Like, of course it's too hard. It's still gonna be hard, like very hard, even if you use all the mechanics. But like, these people are just straight up just not using anything, and then they complain about the difficulty. So I thought the conversation went like 10 different directions. But I think the majority of the reviews that are mixed are saying that the performance is not great on PC. I think that's why it's getting mixed reviews on Steam. But I didn't really have any issues. Like, there's some pop-ins here and there, but other than that, nothing stood out to me like, oh my god, this is terrible. I didn't have any crashes, so it ran pretty smooth for me. I got a consistent frame rate, and yeah, I thought the visuals look fantastic. I mean, Elden Ring never had the best graphics, but where this game shines is the art direction. The art direction in this game is arguably the best that there's ever been, or it's definitely one of the greatest games ever. One of the greatest games in terms of art direction. Like, everything in this game is gorgeous. Like, the backgrounds in the DLC are amazing. Like, you could take so many images in this game, so many pictures. I was taking screenshots left and right, which I had to be careful of because I don't want to put spoilers on Twitter. So I always kept it about my character only. The big problem I had with the DLC was the final boss. I thought the final boss was disappointing. I thought lore-wise, the story was kind of stupid, and I think a lot of people agree. They didn't. People don't like the lore of the original. The original game is fantastic, but in this one, it was just weird and it didn't really click. And I thought the final boss was really broken, especially the phase 2 of it. It's just ridiculously hard. I think a lot of people are really having issues with the final boss. I just didn't care for it. It really soured my experience at the end. But that's what keeps it from being a 10 out of 10 for me, is that the final boss and the lore was not great. But there's so much content in this game that, like, this is easily Elden Ring 2. Like, this is like a 40 hours. I mean, I didn't take me 45. I mean, it could be like 25 hours, but it's like 25 hours to 40-hour DLC, which is incredible. And the map is so huge. There's like 40 bosses. I think IGN said like they counted like 40 bosses in this game, in this DLC. And yeah, there's a bunch of side quests to do. There's a bunch. You just go in the. I did a blind playthrough. I didn't look at guides or anything. I kind of just wanted to venture into things. And this is never mind challenging. It's pretty scary in some places. Like, because they'll put like a message saying, "Don't let them see you." Like if you play on the Souls game where like they put messages on the ground, Dory, and like
yes.
and then one of them's like, "Don't let them see you," and then you walk into the dark forest and you don't know what's gonna go happen, and all of a sudden these monsters jump at you and suck your soul out. So those are kind of experiences that makes Elden Ring so fantastic. It's like you don't know what you're getting into. You go on an adventure, and then you experience it. And if you struggle, you can always go back, grind, get another weapon, change your build, and then come back and take it on. So that's what makes Elden Ring so great, is that like you're not held down by like a linear focus. Like, you can go wherever you want in any order you want, and then come back and tackle it a different way. So it's an amazing DLC. I totally recommend it. It's $40. I think it's like $80 for both packages. I don't know if it's on sale right now, but I know the regular one is on Steam. But yeah, it's amazing. I know Dory's never gonna play it,
No.
but I want to say I did enjoy the conversation on Twitter in terms of like there were people saying I'm never playing this again, I'm quitting, da, da, da. And then the next day they're like posting videos of them playing again. It's like
Yeah.
it's an addiction. It's just it's something you have to tackle. It's like you have to overcome this. It's like a goal in life. It's like I want to finish this DLC and say I did it. And yeah, it was really fantastic. So
The main takeaway I got from reading an article about why people thought it was so tough is that they're kind of funneling people into a certain play style, whereas the original campaign doesn't necessarily do that. Like certain styles of play are more viable they're more viable in the normal campaign than they are in the DLC. You know what I mean? So
I agree with
that seems to be the issue, according to one person. I don't know how accurate that is,
I would say that's pretty accurate. I mean, I think the thing is a lot of people play Magic build and they're doing like the Kamehameha build and stuff where they were shooting a giant wave.
Yeah.
And this game and the DLC is very like the bosses don't even hesitate; they run right at you. They don't let you breathe.
Yeah.
So it favors it favors melee builds more.
Yeah.
So my character is a mix between Magic and melee, so it didn't affect me as much, but it's definitely there. And a lot of people were not happy about that. But yeah, it's a fantastic DLC. So let's move on now. The Steam Summer Sale. We're not have to go too deep into it. I know Dory hasn't got anything yet. I spent a lot of money yesterday. Yeah. I save up for it. This is the one. This is usually I usually wait until the big sale comes out and then I get what I want. It's a very lousy sale for new AAA games. Like if you're looking for like Horizon Forbidden West or something like on that level on Steam, those games are still like $47. I don't think you should spend that kind of money on a Steam Summer Sale. I think Steam Summer Sale, the best thing to buy for that is indies and like old series and things like that. So, like for example, I bought a lot of Annapurna games and a lot of Devolver games because they were all like $4 to $13. Like I couldn't pass up on that kind of stuff. And like Assassin's Creed series was like $4 each. Some of them were like $8. So I bought that series. I wanted to get Splinter Cell, the whole series. So that was like a bundle. The bundle was cheap. Yeah, so there was a bunch of. I mainly used it to buy a series. Like I got all the Dead Rising games. I wanted to play the Dead Rising games again, and I bought a lot of games.
My list is bonkers. I mean, like I've got Chrono Trigger's on sale, Mafia Definitive Edition's on a big sale, Little Guardsman, This Bed We Made, Crow Country, Dragon Quest 11. I mean, it's wild. Of course, the Kingdom Hearts collection, Ghost of New Eden, which only came out this year, is on sale. It's huge.
Like it's kind of a small like annoyance, but when Steam always shows what games you bought to everybody on in the activity page, and like when you buy bundles and stuff, like it shows every game in the bundle, so it makes it look it makes it look you spent $5,000. Like, people were like thinking I spent like $20,000. I'm like, no, I didn't. I bought bundles. So I bought like the Pathless again and the Solar Ash, and I bought like Mafia 3, My Friend Pedro, Braid was like $4 I think right now. I would definitely get that, the Braid collection. Sleeping Dogs was like $3. I bought all the Super Giant games, so I own every game they ever made now. So I got Bastion and Transistor and
nice
Pyre.
I loved Bastion.
Yeah, I actually never got to play that one, so it's on this.
I recommend it. It's a great game.
I want to play it on the Steam Deck, so I'm excited for that. And I bought like Tony Hawk Pro Skater again. I wanted to play it on PC and play it on my Steam Deck on the go. That sounds like fun to do. And like I can go through every game, but for the sake of time, I won't. So yeah, it's a good sale for like indies, I think. in old series. But don't go into it thinking like you're gonna get a great sale on like Baldur's Gate 3 is gonna be like $15 or anything like that. But Baldur's Gate 3 is cheapest it's ever been right now. Definitely get it. Also, Liza P. If you have not got that yet, this is a really good sale for that. But like I said, don't expect it to be like $15 unless you really want to wait 3 years, 4 years from now. But I don't think Baldur's Gate's ever gonna drop that low in price. Honestly, it's too good of a game. All right, so let's move on now to the original. So all of a sudden, Capcom and GOG got the Sphere Hunter to announce that Resident Evil, the original trilogy, is coming to GOG. Obviously, Sphere Hunter is an awesome Resident Evil Capcom gamer, and she makes amazing videos. And so she announced it, and people are unhappy because it's only on GOG. And if you don't know what GOG is, it's like
good old games.
Yeah, basically you can buy games and they're DRM free, so you own the game outright. Like obviously in Steam you don't really own the game; you buy the license to own the game. But like if Valve ever shut down, all your games would go away. Like on PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo. But in GOG you own the game permanently. So if something happened to them, nothing would happen to your file. But people were like, why isn't it on Steam? Why is it not on consoles? I feel like this is a missed opportunity. I was considering maybe getting it on GOG. I mean, I'm not totally against getting it on GOG. Of course, I would prefer things on Steam. I know you can add games to your library, non-Steam games to your library, but it's still not the same. I would like to have achievements and stuff, and be part of the ecosystem. But it is cool. These games are not available on PC anymore until now, so that's awesome. Like the only way you could play them on PC nowadays was the emulator. So that is awesome news. Like that is amazing. Those are fantastic games that everybody should play. But another criticism was that they're old versions of the games. They're the old 90s versions. Obviously, since then, there's been a lot of mods and remastered versions that people have made that have made the games better. You can door skip, but good news is that you can use the mods on these games. So the Rebirth mods are great. I would definitely recommend them if you play these games. And so that's awesome. But it is disappointing because in the fact that like Capcom easily could have gave us a remastered trilogy and like made the controls better, made the graphics better. Like we shouldn't have to rely on non Capcom employees to mod the games to make them better. Like, there's no reason why Capcom does not release this anniversary edition for these games for everybody to play. So I guess it's never coming to Steam because GOG played a hand in getting this done. So. And GOG is competition to Steam, so it's possible that we're never going to see it on consoles or Steam. So, but I really hope we do. I really hope Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and Steam all get their hands on this game. No, I don't think you're going to play them on GOG, but would you, if they came to Steam or PlayStation or whatever, would you try them out?
Probably not. I don't really like the camera controls. It's just not something I jive with very well. So I feel like it's a swing and a miss for me no matter what. I played the remakes for a reason because they're more modern and more natural to me. Even, I grew up with RE1, RE2, RE3, but even then I struggled a lot with the controls and I just didn't like the tank controls. And to me, somebody who's already very spatially defunct, tank controls are like a nightmare. So yeah, not for me.
If they do it like the original remake, like on the 2002 one, and then when they did the remaster for that one, like in 2015, I want to say, for the PS4 and Xbox, they gave you the option to choose between tank controls and modern controls, and I thought it was pretty smooth the way you can move. So I'm curious if they ever remastered it with a gave you that option where you can add modder controls to the game and how it would play if you can do that. That's what people wanted, is like that kind of thing where you're like Capcom does an anniversary edition and they add modern controls to it. I personally like tank controls. It doesn't bother me. I'm old school, but I could definitely understand that a lot of Resident Evil fans play their remakes and stuff, and they're more modern, and the original games are not going to hold up as well. So it's better than nothing overall. That's my opinion of this. It's not great. It's kind of disappointing, but it's better than nothing, and I'm glad that people can get their hands on the original games now. Like I said, it's not on PC anymore. You had to emulate it, but now it's there. You can own it permanently. So the whole collection is $25, but only the first game's out right now. So I think it's like $10. So that's not a bad deal for the original Resident Evil. It's also the original. Also, this version is not the director's cut; it's the original. So don't expect the basement theme song, the crazy one. If you know, you know. That director's cut version is on PS Plus. So, anyway, let's get to the final topic now, which is the Nintendo Direct, which was amazing. Some people said it was better than the Xbox show. I wouldn't go that far, but I thought it was quite good. We're not gonna go through every game because not everything appeals to us. I think I hit on all the big ones on my list. If Dory sees any other ones that I forgot to put, then she can add them or mention them. But let's start with Mario and Luigi Brothership, which was like the first thing they showed. What did you think of that, Dory? Dory, I can't hear you actually.
Terrible. Sorry, I muted myself because my dog was barking a little bit ago, and then forgot to unmute myself.
No worries.
Terrible name. I don't like that name. Brothership. It feels like it should be Brotherhood, but they don't want to get a cease and desist from Ubisoft. That's my take on the matter. But yeah, Brothership sounds terrible. Like Mothership, but with brothers. I don't know. It's two brothers, and they're on a ship. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that's not the point though. The point is the gameplay looks really cool. This is a Mario and Luigi game, and those are usually pretty fun. I've seen some Let's Plays of them on YouTube, and it's a pretty fun series. It's very much like the Paper Mario series or Mario RPG, but just Luigi's there too, and. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have too much more to add, but this looked fun. No, I never played them. I've seen Let's Plays of them, so that's how I know how they kind of control and how they play and stuff like that. But yeah, I never got into them myself. But I do enjoy watching people play them, and would consider picking this up too if it got good reviews.
It probably will, I would imagine.
Yeah.
What a time! Like, we got like 3 Mario RPGs within the span of a year. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And like, people didn't think we'd ever see a Super Mario RPG again. Got that. Mario Luigi's been absent for like years.
I don't even know how many years.
I want to say 14 years or 10 years, something like that. 3DS. And my only thing I didn't like about it is that I'm not crazy about the art style. It looked kind of weird at some points. They were like really stretched out, but not my favorite art style of Mario, but still cool, unique. Definitely something I'll probably get for sure. So that comes out on November 7th. So that's a good date for it. The next thing I want to talk about is Dragon Quest III, the HD 2D remake. We're also getting 1 and 2 next year. It looked great. I'm a sucker for RPGs, of course, JRPGs, and I never got to play the original Dragon Quest games. I started at 9, I think, on the PS2. So I missed the whole beginning of the series. So I'm definitely interested to play this. But I'm not getting it on Nintendo. I am getting it on Steam. They're coming to everything, of course, that it's not exclusive. Do you have any interest in this?
No, not really. I don't know. It's another series I never got into because I had kind of the ick about turn-based games for a long, long time. So yeah, I never got into it, but I am like I said before, I mentioned on my Steam wish list is the Dragon Quest 11. So I'm thinking about doing that as my intro to the Dragon Quest series, and if I like that, then maybe I'll check out 1, 2, and 3. I don't know.
I beat it. It's an amazing game. Obviously, I think a lot of people that was their first Dragon Quest game. Got them into the series.
Yeah.
Especially Dragon Quest S, that version, which is like the default
Yes.
version now.
Yes.
You have the option to play it in 2D and 3D, so you get to choose.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Which one did you prefer?
3D.
Yeah.
But I think I had the original version when I played it, so I didn't have that option. But I still would have played it in 3D. 'Cause the 3D, I mean, it's Akira Toriyama style. It looks great.
Yeah.
It still holds up. I didn't put it on the list, but Fantasian Neo Dimension. It's like a mobile game that's coming to Switch and everything else as well. I've seen mixed opinions about it. Some people are really like excited that it's coming out, and other people would thought like, "Wow, this game looks mediocre." Definitely looks like a mobile game. Gameplay is very mobile game-ish, where you like aim a cursor and it hits multiple enemies, and the graphics are not the strongest, but it looks pretty cool. You know what game I'm talking about, Dory?
Which game?
Fantasian. Neo Dimension.
Fantasian. I did see this at the show. Let's see, Fantasian Neo Dimension from Mistwalker Studios. Yeah, I didn't. So like this is like a remake of like a mobile game or some shit, right?
Yeah, it looks like one.
Yeah. I didn't. It didn't really stick with me, honestly.
Yeah.
But it looks very. I mean, it looks very JRPG, and I mean that title too. Good lord. But yeah, I don't have much to say on it. It didn't pick out. It didn't stand out to me.
Yeah. And then another game that stood out to me was the Mio Memories in Orbit game, which is like a cel-shaded Metroidvania game where you're like floating. It reminded me a lot of Grease. I love that art style. I'm kind of burned out from Metroidvanias, like left and right now. But
yeah, I loved the art style of Mio Memories in Orbit, but I'm not usually into Metroidvanias. They've got to be pretty simple for me and my bad sense of direction.
Yeah.
And I just question whether this will get there. But God, did I love watching that trailer. It looks so pretty.
Yep. And then Dory's game that she's dying to play is Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
I can't believe you actually mentioned that. No, I'm not actually going to play that, but I did want to shout it out just because I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, like
actually,
there's a huge audience, especially on Switch, for that. Where like the cozy gamers.
Yes, I do. I'm dating a cozy gamer.
They're an audience that you don't want to mess with. They will come after you.
I personally would not want to mess with my wife, so I can confirm.
All right. Let's skip ahead to. So Donkey Kong Country Returns, which is their Wii U remastered.
And I mean, somebody had a great question. How many fucking times is Donkey Kong going to return? Like, how many times does bro need to come back? Like, Jesus Christ.
I'm actually excited for this. I didn't get to play the original, so yeah, you can make an argument that Nintendo keeps relying too much on remasters, but no one bought these Wii U games, so I am. This is a game I am getting. The only thing I don't like is it's coming out in January. It's kind of a weird time. Something about just January was weird. Okay, it's a remastered, so I was like, why is it taking so long to come out? Especially when it looks done. But it is what it is. Yeah, it looks great. I will get it for sure. It's probably gonna be really hard. I think I did play this on. My dad had a Wii U. I think I played it a little bit. The Tropical Freeze game was really hard. So I imagine this is gonna be challenging as well. All the Donkey Kong Country games are hard. I grew up with them, the Super Nintendo ones, and they were hard. So, any interest in this story?
No, not particularly. I saw this one and it just didn't really, similar to what I said about the last one. I like Donkey Kong as a character, and I grew up with playing the games on Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, but I was never any good at them. And as I've gotten older, I've only liked platformers less and less, especially the really difficult ones. Honestly, they're kind of like, I don't know, the Dark Souls of platformers to me, like, or maybe not necessarily Donkey Kong specifically, but they are like pretty tough in terms of being a platformer. And I'm already iffy on platformers. Like, I loved Spyro, but that's nostalgia, and that's also because Spyro is very accessible. But I didn't enjoy Crash Bandicoot 1 for similar reasons to what I think I would not enjoy Donkey Kong Returns for. I was tempted to get Tropical Freeze just because it had some accessibility options. But overall, yeah, this didn't do much for me. And again, I really don't know how many times Donkey Kong needs to return. Can we just get a new Donkey Kong 64 game? That's what I want. I think that'd be awesome. I love Donkey Kong 64. So that's my spin on the topic.
I think a lot of people would agree with you. It's been a long time since we got a new Donkey Kong game, and people are getting tired of remasters. But hopefully with the theme park coming out next year with the Donkey Kong Land and the Mario movie, Donkey Kong might be as popular as ever. So maybe we'll get more Donkey Kong stuff in the future. Because I'd imagine Nintendo has a lot of games in the tuck. Like, they just have a whole stockpile of games that they've developed, and they just like they haven't revealed it yet. Just sake for filling time up. Alright, so the other game they showed was Luigi's Mansion 2, which came out already. I haven't played it yet, but I will play it this week. I will talk about it next week.
Nice.
I'm excited. It's only the Luigi's Mansion game I have not beat yet. Because I had it on 3DS, but I put it down, so I am excited to play it. It seems like everybody's digging it. It seems like they did a good job remastering it. Because they had to clean it up because it's a 3DS game. Alright. So let's move ahead. Let's move to... Okay, so Nintendo expansion pack. The Nintendo Online, they gave us mature 17 and up games on there now. They had Perfect Dark on there. If you ever play... If you don't mind playing retro games, Perfect Dark is one of the greatest first-person shooters ever. And they had Turok, which is also a classic first-person shooter where you fight dinosaurs. And that was my childhood. Although I played Turok mainly on Xbox. So there's that. Let's move on to... Alright, so this is the big one for me. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection.
Dude, people fucking went crazy.
Yeah.
Like, first off, Ryu and fucking Cyclops doing that handshake became a meme.
Yeah.
But also, like,
take you for a ride.
Yes, but also like the clips of people just watching that and freaking the fuck out was awesome.
Maximilian, dude, he's the best.
Yes, Maximilian was freaking out. He's like, no way.
Yep, he's my go-to guy for Final Fantasy VII reactions and Street Fighter and Capcom. All right, so yeah, this collection is amazing. I am so blown away. I wishlisted it on Steam. You get like a bunch of games with it too.
Yeah,
this is amazing. The fighting game community went crazy, and this is gonna be at Evo and everything. Like, people are gonna go nuts. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah,
I'm so glad Capcom did this. The only negative for this was that they neglected Xbox. They put it on everything but Xbox, and Xbox gamers were pissed, and that was a big conversation during the instead of talking about Nintendo Direct, PlayStation and Xbox communities focused on this game not being on Xbox, and that was a big complaint. I don't know why it's not coming. Nobody knows why it skipped Xbox, but doesn't affect me. I'm playing on my Steam Deck. This is the perfect Steam Deck game, and I'm so excited for this. I'm so glad. This might be my favorite announcement from the show, honestly.
Wow.
Like, non-Nintendo maybe. All right.
I'll tell you what. You already know what my favorite thing is.
Go ahead.
From the show. Well, we'll talk about it in a second. Okay. Unless we're already there. Are we already there?
No, because I want to talk about Mario Party Jamboree. Is that interesting?
Okay, then we're not there. I'm gonna turn on the light.
Do you play any of the Mario Party games?
I did play Mario Party Superstar, or whatever the last one was for the Switch with Kim. We had some fun. I think we played all of the boards, and then we just stopped.
Yeah, the exciting thing about this one is you can play with 20 people online, which is insane. Like, I'm curious how the online infrastructure is going to handle that. And but like I might get this just for my students when we have free time and we can play
Yeah,
Mario.
that's a good idea.
When they get sick of Smash Brothers and Mario Kart, we can play Mario Party because they do get sick of it after a while. So I might get it. We'll see. But for me myself, like I don't get particularly interested in Mario Party games.
Yeah,
I don't have the kind of friends that want to play Mario Party. They usually want to play like something more hardcore, of course, like online.
Right.
So yeah. So not my thing, but I might get it for my students. All right, the big one for me that stood out to me was Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, which we can finally play as Zelda.
Finally
Which was
play as
awesome.
Legend of Zelda, a series called this sounds like fake video game trivia. In a game series called
Fake
Legend of
news.
Zelda, you have not been able to play as Zelda for how long has Legend of Zelda been out for? 20, 40 years?
Since the early 80s. Yeah, 1980s.
Yeah, so like 40 years or something like that.
Yeah.
45. Anyway, that just sounds like fake. Like that sounds like a fake fact, but it's true. Yeah, this was really cool. Also got a lot of memes made out of it with Zelda making tables and smashing them over goblins and stuff like that. I thought that was really great. And then of course you got the crossover with Aerith and Zelda hitting people with steel chairs. And then the pro wrestling community got into it. It was great. Twitter was awesome. But yeah, this looked really cool. There's some light puzzle solving elements, some light creation elements, a la Tears of the Kingdom. But yeah, Seb, go ahead.
Did you like the gameplay where like you summon things and they fight for you rather than her like actually fighting?
I don't know. I'm like I love the idea of finally being able to play as Zelda, but the fact that you can't play as Sheik is kind of a bummer, or at least doesn't seem like it. Obviously it could be a twist or something, but yeah, that's a bit of a bummer for me. I don't find Zelda compelling as a character as much as I find like Sheik as a character compelling. I still think it's cool. I don't know that I'm going to play this. I'll wait for reviews. I'm not big into the creation element from Tears of the Kingdom. To me, that's just too much fiddling with menus and stuff like that. But
how do you feel about the art style? 'Cause it has Link's Awakening art style again.
it's very chibi. I didn't mind it when they did it at during Diamond, the remakes for Diamond and Pearl, and I don't really mind it here either. It doesn't move me, but it doesn't like push me away either. I'm kind of just whatever about it. I get that Nintendo finds it to be an easy art style to adapt to the Nintendo Switch. It's not my favorite style they do, but it's not the worst style that they do either. So I'm just kind of whatever about it.
Yeah, I like it. I liked it for Link's Awakening. I think it's unique. I don't want every game to look the same. And I really like about Zelda is they like to change up the art styles. You got Wind Waker, looks totally different than Breath of the Wild. Looks totally different from Twilight Princess. Looks totally different from Ocarina of Time. So I like that they change it up. I know people are disappointed in the art style because I think people really want like a Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword animated, more realistic ish Zelda game where it's more like serious and darker. I think people are because even like Tears of the Kingdom is very bright colored and stuff like that. It has dark moments and stuff, of course, but I'm excited for it. It comes out on September 26th, so that's a good time for it. That's probably day one for me, for sure. Could be a game of the year contender, maybe. Maybe not, but definitely interested. Let's move on. So we already talked about Lego Horizons coming to Switch, which is crazy. Skip. We're almost done. All right, last game. All right, that interests both of us is Metroid Prime 4.
Interested. I screamed. And you know what was extra funny too? I think you saw this on both you only saw it on one of them, but on both the Chivalry Discord and the and Drop Punk's Discord. I was completely like, it's not happening, guys. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, this is never Metroid Prime 4 is never happening. We can all stop. Like, blah blah blah. And then the gameplay start like very obvious like Metroid UI started showing up on the screen. I was like, oh my god, like no way. And then like we got further and further into the trailer. I was in denial the whole time. I'm like, is this a remake? Is this Metroid Prime 3 corruption or whatever? I was just like, I kept like trying to like convince myself that it was something other than what it obviously was, right? And yeah, when that title dropped, I went, ah! I fucking love Metroid Prime 3, and if this is a successor to that, oh my god, I'm so fucking hype. I love Metroid Prime 3 on the fucking on the Wii. One of my favorite games of the Wii. Excellent game. I loved playing Metroid Prime 1 a year ago or two. Not my favorite in all aspects, but for the most part, I thought it was a great game. I know that's kind of a hot take. I know it's like supposed to be like one of the best games of all time, but I think some parts have aged poorly, and some parts I'm just not into. I'm not really into Metroidvania, so that's kind of hard for a Metroid game. But I love Metroid Prime 3. I have such fond memories of it. I wish they would do a remaster because I'd replay the shit out of it. But yeah, I screamed. That immediately made this whole Nintendo Direct a lot better for me. I already thought it was pretty good, and then this happened, and I was like, damn, this got to be one of the best Nintendo Directs in a while for me.
Yeah, it was amazing. Of course, I'm a big Metroid fan. I'm super excited. The Switch has brought back my love for Metroid. I beat Metroid Dread. It was my game of the year in 2021. And I loved Metroid Prime, the first one remastered. And I got to play it again for the first time since the GameCube days. That was awesome. And yeah, I'm super hyped. I mean, I have my Samus amiibo right here. If you're on audio, I'm showing my amiibo. And I was blown away. It's gonna be amazing. It reminded me a lot of Halo 4 or Halo in general. Like it looks more modern than the other Metroid games. Looks like a more typical first-person shooter with obviously with the mechanics where you roll as a ball and stuff. But it looks amazing. Do you think it's a Switch 2 game or do you think it's a Switch 1 game?
It says TBA 2025. I really think it's either end of the Switch or beginning of Switch 2. Which I mean, I guess obviously, duh. I'll be brave and I'll say it's a Switch 2 opening game.
I think it's a Switch 1 game, but I think it's going to be cross-gen. I think it's going to be like Breath of the Wild, where it was on the Wii U and the Switch. And I think it's going to be the same for this game. But I do think what they're showing is running on Switch 1 hardware. But we never know, I guess. I mean, because Metroid Dread looked great. If you ever do play Metroid Dread, it does look really good on the Switch. Because it has this.
Man, those fucking Emmys scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, the Metroid Prime games have some really scary moments. Even like Dread too. Like Dread had a lot of you getting chased by the robot and stuff. It was very stressful.
That villain also looks really cool. I don't know who he is or she is, but the villain with the mask and stuff like that looked really cool.
Yep, those look really cool.
At the end. Yeah.
I don't remember 3 enough so I could tell you if that's a character from the other game.
Some people were saying it's a reference to one of the games that happened 15 years ago or some shit. Maybe even Metroid Hunters. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, but it is canon.
I'm gonna assume that's Dark Samus, right?
I thought so too, but I feel like I heard it was a different character. I don't remember though.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. For people listening, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. We're not good enough at our lore.
Yeah, I haven't played Metroid Prime since the Wii, which was like that game came out in 2007. So I was 14. And I'm 31. So do the math. 17 years. So anyway, it looks amazing. This is the Game of the Year contender. This is gonna be one of the best. This probably be one of the best reviewed games. All the Metroid Prime games are well reviewed, I believe. So this is gonna be incredible. I'm so excited. Next year is stacked of games, and this is gonna be amazing. Yeah, I was very excited. I had a feeling that we were gonna see it, and I was glad that we finally got it. It's been a long wait.
Long wait.
It's been like a decade. I feel like they basically had to redo the whole game over again. But it looks great, and you can see the polish from what I'm seeing. So yeah, the soundtrack's gonna
It
be a
looks
banger.
really good.
Gameplay's amazing. The soundtrack's gonna be a killer again, like always. Samus is an awesome character. I don't know. The storyline's gonna be solid. I'm sure, at least. So yeah, it looks amazing. So Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I wonder what the Beyond means in this case. All right, so that's the Nintendo Direct. Overall, I thought it was a good Nintendo Direct. It wasn't like mind blowing. I wasn't like dying of hype, but there was enough games where I was very satisfied. Obviously, half the games we talked about I'm going to get on Steam, but for Switch owners though, you're eating good, right? You get a new game like every month. It's exciting time. Like this is arguably the best Nintendo's ever been. Like they just have games and games and games left and right constantly. So they're doing an amazing job right now. And I don't think they're stopping anytime soon. But yeah, I think like I'm with you that like I thought it was pretty good until the Metroid Prime, and then that made it like good. You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, it was okay. It's a good solid 7.58 for me. And then all of a sudden Metroid Prime came on. I was like, yeah, that's a 9 out of 10 conference for me. And so yeah. Any final thoughts before we end the show?
No. If anybody who is listening and still after our 2-month hiatus, thank you so much for dropping by. Obviously, after this podcast, after this episode, we will be a bit more caught up on the current landscape. But yeah, there's so much exciting stuff going on for gaming. It's really awesome. I really encourage everybody to pick up the Kingdom Hearts series on Steam if you have the money and have the time. It's 31% off, which backwards is 13. But you didn't hear that from me. And yeah, it's just an awesome time to be a gamer and to love video games. And I'm going to probably go back to Fallout New Vegas any second now so I can keep playing this awesome game. So yeah, still loving Game Pass, loving Steam, and my PS5 is there too sometimes. So yeah, thanks so much to everybody who's still listening, and we will be back next week with some more gaming goodness.
Absolutely. If you're on the Steam Summer Sale, please check out the indies, support the devs if you want to. There's a lot of great games. Go check them out. Go do the research. You can get like a nice bundle of games for like $50. So please check out the indies. Don't be into the whole AAA only mindset. Don't spend $70 on a game during Steam Summer Sale.
And for people who want to be like, oh, practice what you preach, I'm looking at like the top 8 games. I've got Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition, Who's Lila, Fury, Lamplight City, Decarnation, Duck Detective, The Secret Salami. Like these are all indie games, like deep indie games. Like I was talking to somebody and he was like, I don't know, 85% of those games. One of the biggest games, 2 of the biggest games here are Mafia and Chrono Trigger. And even those are kind of niche. So yeah, support indie devs. There's a lot of great stuff. The industry is just a mess for devs right now. So do your best to support them as much as you can. Obviously. Yeah, and I hope everybody has a great weekend. I hope everyone had a lovely Pride Month, and we'll see everybody in July.
Yep. You have a good night, Dory. Take care.
Bye.